feel that? That is some smooth jazz trickery right down onto this What Everybody Wednesday to creep into that inner ear canal on the latest episode of the What Everybody podcast. Jonny here in the 1943rd person, along with Mr. Happy Guy Ryan the Harris. On today's episode, anger issues all over the place. That's all I got, so what else do you need? Answer, nothing. So with no further ado, Ryan and Jonny.
What up, Johnny boy?
Hi, how are you? I'm tired.
Hey.
Tired.
You're not selling me with that aggression.
I'm tired. This is cranky.
I ran out of shirts, dude. Episode 39. I'm wearing a repeat.
So am I. I mean, I've probably worn these at least half.
Yeah. You've definitely repeated, but I'm
At least half.
a little bit more. What's the word? Cosmetic.
I'm fucking consistent. That's what I am. That's what's shaking, Harris.
Not much, man. We got tons of snow.
It snowed in Pasadena yesterday.
Really? Like up in the elevation, you mean?
At the Rose Bowl. Like the Rose Bowl was covered in like snow and hail or some shit.
Wow.
And you know what? That happened in 2011, the night after the KGO, or the morning after the KGO CD release party. It snowed in Burbank.
It snowed?
In Burbank.
Well, Burbank has mountains. Did it snow in the mountains or did it snow in like actual Burbank?
No, like it was like in actual Burbank.
Wow.
You see snow in the mountains all the time.
Wow. I was going to say this global warming stuff's real, but that was like a couple years back.
Speaking of snow on the mountains, fucking drivers in fucking Beverly Hills, bro.
That's a terrible segue.
Yeah. No. Perfect segue. The motherfucker must be snorting fucking mountains as fucking blow.
All right,
mountains
slow down,
bro.
Slow down. Tell me what happened. You got to tell me what happened.
All right, we're going to back up. I'm coming in hot today because you got a couple things. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Cranky.
You're trying
I'm having technical difficulties once again. But with all that being said, it all started yesterday.
You're trying to fight through it.
Yeah. Did you ever notice? I'm so flustered. I don't even know where to begin. People in Beverly Hills drive like jerk-offs.
Okay.
There's something to be said that people who are wealthy with a really nice car in Beverly Hills drive as if, not all, but a good portion, drive with this certain level of entitlement of, I don't give a fuck that I'm in your way, cutting you off, nearly hit you and your piece of shit car, because I got this beautiful $150,000 BMW. I'm going to cut off everybody and just make a left-hand turn when I'm not even in the lane next to the left-hand lane. This guy is a jack-off, and I'm fucking sick of this entitled bullshit of people
like, I'm in a hurry and you're in the way.
Yeah, like I just don't understand it, dude. Like somebody.
Okay, well, what happened? Something clearly happened to you yesterday. You're being a little bit vague. You had road rage, or just some guy pissed you off?
Principle. I'm a man of principle.
I
let some guy in, thinking he was just going to turn into my lane and continue forward with the rest of traffic.
Okay.
No. He gets into my lane.
Okay.
Right. And he decides that he wants to go over to the far left.
You're on Sunset,
lane.
I'm assuming?
No. We're on Beverly Drive in Beverly Hills.
Beverly Drive.
Right in the heart of Beverly Hills.
And it's two
trying
lanes.
to get out of the heart of it. It's and I let him out of some fucking driveway into my lane.
Yeah.
There's two lanes. There's two lanes going straight and a turning lane. There was the far right lane that can go straight or turn right, the middle lane that goes straight, or the left lane that turns left.
Okay.
I let this guy in thinking that I'm letting him in to go straight. I soon learned that's not the case, because when I let him in, I slowed down because it was a red light still, and I was being a really cool dude, I thought, letting in this nice guy in his nice $150,000 fucking car in, right?
What kind of car?
So, fucking the toppest end fucking Beamer that you can get. Like, you just
BMW.
You look at that, you're like, God, I farted near your car. I think I owe you $10,000 for your paint job. You know, one of those fucking things. So he gets into my lane, and I soon realized right before the light turns green, I'm like, I don't think this guy is going to be turning or going straight. I think he's going to be trying to get in the turn lane, which is fucked up because that right there is unethical. You don't take somebody's kindness to let you in their moving lane, to get into their moving lane, to stop them so they can force their way into another lane, which he didn't even do that because everybody else was like, fuck you. So instead, he just went up my lane to the top of the left-hand turning lane and just cut the person off and made the left-hand turn and didn't give a fucking regard to anybody.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You were nice. Jeez. You were nice. You let somebody in front of you in your lane, and then they were trying to cut people in the next lane over off. They weren't having it, so you were forced to sit behind him and wait for him to then cut somebody off. Is that what happened?
Yeah, more or less. Like he was originally trying to just like force his way into the left lane and nobody'd let him in. First, I just want to say this. Here's what he should have done.
Like, worse offenses could have happened. It was
worse. Yeah, but this is what's wrong is that he felt the entitlement that he didn't have to go by the fucking simple rules and courtesy of the road. What he should have done is turned into the closest lane. And then if you needed to go in that direction, you make a right-hand turn and go around and just go in that direction. Or you go straight and you continue on. But if you're going to get into my lane and then not let me move when the light turns green, I'm now waiting behind you because you're trying to cut into a lane that nobody's letting you in. And when nobody's going to let you in, instead of going straight, which would have been the nice thing to do to everybody, stop wasting everybody's time, he just goes to the front of the left-hand turning lane from my lane and just fucking cuts everybody off and makes the left-hand turn for everybody.
All the years I lived in LA, I've said it. I lost count how many times I said it. I'd rather make 3 rights than 1 left.
God damn it, it's too hot.
I don't believe for a second you're tired. You're shot out of a rocket.
Speaking of cars, I got a fucking treat for you. A couple of weeks ago, I told you a story about a dog driving a car with my buddy Tom Fellenz as my witness. Well, guess what? Tom Fellenz.
Guess who's in the waiting room?
Bring him in. Bring him in.
I've never met Tom Fellenz. Although I did give him a shout out. I gave him a shout out, Tom Fellenz, on the podcast when you were talking about
I don't know if that's true, dude. I think you might have met him at a gig in Philly at Dobbs.
Well, we'll see.
Or
all right.
Dave and Buster's or something.
Tom Fellenz.
There he is.
Yo. Shout out Tom Fellenz. What up, dude? How's it going, man?
Hey, buddy. Hey, have you guys met before? Like at a gig in Philly or something? No,
I don't think so, man. I'm Ryan, officially. Good to meet you.
Ryan, nice to meet you, man.
I'm being a dickhead because we're on the podcast, but I actually am happy to have you on here. And we got to get to the bottom of what you two fellas saw.
Yeah.
Nobody believes me, Fellenz. You're
We've
the only
told the
one.
Story too many times, but hey, Ryan, you can tee this up. Whatever you need to know, man, I'm ready to fire it out.
Yeah, well, first of all, let me establish. I believe that you guys believe this. Okay, so there's that. I believe that you guys believe that. The story is
that was the backhanded compliment of some kind or something.
No. So I've heard Jonny tell it. Why don't you give me the quick cliff notes of what you remember?
Yeah, man. So, gosh, what were we, like 20, Johnny? Like 20 years old, coming home from Ocean City, Maryland, in John's car, what was it, the red Suzuki Swift.
GTI.
Look next to us.
Just real quick. I got to make this clear because we did mention that we were smoking stuff, but it wasn't.
Tell the story.
No. But I want to not to forget that we were smoking. Remember that green tube? What do they call that? The steamroller. We were smoking the resin out of the steamroller. Anyway,
I believe you. I believe you.
I mean, to this day, that does not make me see different things that are not there and that do not exist. So
exactly.
We're driving, maybe a half hour into our trip. We're on a 4-lane road in Delaware. We're in the left lane, residential area, going about 40 miles an hour, pulling up to a red light. I look to my right out of the passenger seat and I see this dog like with his paws up on the steering wheel. And it probably took me a second or two to
it was like this.
Really confirm in my brain what I was seeing. Took a couple seconds to take it all in. And then I smacked John and I was like, dude, and he looked over and he's like, is that what I think it is? And we're both like in shock for a good, 5-10 seconds. as we pull up to like a stoplight, we're slowing down and we're staring at this dog. And just as fast as we stop, the light turns green. We start to pull forward. The dog and his owner, who's in the passenger seat, pull forward, and he makes a right-hand turn off of the highway that we're on onto a side street and pulls away. And I don't know, for the next half hour, we're like, did we really see this? Did we really see this? And we're like, no one's going to believe us when we tell the story. The look we get is like, you guys are insane. What drugs were you on?
So I want to believe you. I want to believe you. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I'm unprepared. I'm unprepared. I didn't know you were coming on the podcast today. But
this at him.
Yeah.
I heard the podcast last week. I'm like, if anybody needs some clarification, I'm in. I'm on.
Yeah, dude. I appreciate it. First of all, I appreciate you, and I'm on the same team. I just want to get to the bottom of it. How long, if you can remember, were you like next to this car? What was the time period? You were driving, and then you came to a stop, and then the car turned off.
Yeah, from the time I noticed to the time we slowed to a stop to where he turned off, I would say anywhere between 30 and 45 seconds.
Okay, so significant enough amount of time to realize that it's a dog.
Yeah, for sure.
Question number 2, what kind of cars do dogs drive?
Okay, so I was thinking about this today. My memory's a little bit hazy on this. It was either an old,
I believe that too. Yeah.
It was an older either Toyota pickup truck that was lower to the ground, or it was like an older model sedan. It was like a reddish, rusty, orangey color.
Reddish.
I remember the color.
Yes.
Was it higher? Was that car higher? It was higher than your car or lower than your car?
If it was a pickup truck, it was lowered to the ground in the sense that John Swift was a super low rider. I remember
the dog was higher than you.
It was higher, but not like high where you would think like a pickup truck is like you're looking way up. It was more eye level, slightly above eye level when I looked out the window.
I see where he's going with Fellenz. I know where he's going.
No, you think I'm going to say, that car was higher. You think I'm going to say the car was higher, but you were higher. I'm not going there with that. I'm just saying, is it possible that since the truck with the dog was higher than your vehicle, that the dog was sitting on a human's lap?
Somebody's lap, and you didn't see it, and I knew that's where you were going with it. That's exactly what I thought you were going to say. Nothing to do with how high we were.
I'll confirm that that's a possibility. And the other theory that John and I have come up with over the years is it is also possible that the owner who was in the passenger seat also had a steering wheel and or accelerator and brake from the
student driving
side.
car,
like a co-pilot,
like a
student driver car.
Yeah.
Right. And there's still a steering wheel on the side that we saw, the normal driver's side, where the dog's had his hands up. So
or even another one
we have come up with over the years to justify
another theory.
The dog was driving the car.
Well, the car was from the UK or Australia, and he put a fake steering wheel on that side to do things like that to people like us.
Yes.
I mean, I'll say this. That's the best practical joke I can think of.
We saw the wheel turn. We saw the wheel turn. We saw the wheel turn.
You're so shouty. You're so shouty, dude.
Because you don't believe me.
It's all good, man. We
of course
need each
I
other,
don't.
Johnny.
I know that. That's why I love
We
you,
always
brother.
have each other.
I mean, nobody believes us. I don't know if I'd believe it either. I don't know if I'd believe that story if, like, Ryan told that to me and you, Fellenz. 3 of us are sitting in a bar and he says that to me and you. Do we believe him? I mean, I don't know. Probably not.
I believe it for the fun factor of the story. In my head, I'm questioning who this dude is. But
do you remember that night I ate 15 ice cream sandwiches at your grandmom's house?
Sure.
Yeah, I just thought of that. I don't know what made me think of that.
Well, so that makes sense because, I mean, how many weeds did you guys smoke? Like, and that's not an asshole question. I'm just saying, like, to establish.
Technical 0 because we were smoking resin.
Yeah, not a lot. We were scraping the bottom of the barrel literally at that point.
Is it possible the bottom of the barrel contained chemicals?
Yeah, but not enough to listen. If we were really altered, I would totally take responsibility for that and say we were not in the correct mental state.
I mean, also you were driving, so that.
And I was going to say, in which case, I shouldn't have been driving a car.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I want to be on your side.
But to be fair, I used to do stupid shit like that. Think about this for a second. What the hell was I thinking that I would fucking drive around with that green fucking used steamroller under my front seat all of the time? It was always in my car. It was always in my car. Like
different time, man. Different time.
Yeah, in those days you could like do
No
time
fear.
for that. Like nowadays, it's not that big of a deal. Back then, it's like, oh, wow. I remember me and
So
Michael
I'll
Turner
say-
got arrested with like a half an eighth of weed in Rolla, Missouri, and they had us in handcuffs on the side of the road.
Shout out Michael Turner. You guys just drove around
Like
partying.
idiots.
Yeah, no,
Like
it's all good.
idiots.
So I'll say this: I think that's got to go down as one of the greatest practical jokes that I can think of, for the sheer
Practical
fact
jokes?
that it's years of that guy, the person that was responsible for making the dog drive a car, is now years later 3 dudes are sitting around talking about it on the internet. That's a pretty good practical joke.
You say 3 dudes. There's got to be more. If we saw that, other
Yeah.
people had to have seen that.
That's what I was going to say. And the internet wasn't so prevalent back then. So if that happened today, we could have posted out there to say, hey, who was driving on this street around this time? Did anybody see the dog driving the car? And I'm sure that would have started a conversation and some confirmation of what we saw. But
I'm
back then,
sure
You got to go.
we would-
You got to go on like Craigslist misconnections.
Yeah.
Hello, dog. turning right with Paul's at 10 and 2.
Fellenz and I would be TikTok influencers with that story out there. That's it. It's over.
Yeah.
Awesome, Fellenz. Well, thanks, buddy. It's been great
You
seeing
got
you.
it, guys.
I appreciate you.
man.
I appreciate you coming on, man. And nice to meet you.
You too, Rye. All right, man.
Thanks.
Back to the
Bye-bye.
action. See you,
Later.
fellas. Be well.
See
Later.
ya.
Later.
Bye. Awesome. So
Shout
there
out
you
Tom
have it.
Fellenz.
Felenzo, thanks, buddy. That was awesome. There you
Yeah.
go. Now there's the story.
So we have no more clarification than we did before.
Well,
Somebody
I mean, man, I can't get over how dumb I was as a kid and how lucky. Like just how lucky, you know, like because when you're young, you don't realize the ramifications of like even if I wasn't high and I would have gotten into an accident that hurt somebody and that thing was in my car, I'm just fucked for having that thing in my car. You know what I mean?
imagine
Like-
here. Let me pose the scenario. Johnny gets into a fender bender. The cops show up, and they go, "What happened?" And he goes, "Well, see." Or no, they say, "Have you had any substance today?" "Well, no, sir. I was responsible. I'm the one driving." "Well, what happened in this here fender bender?" "Well, see, I looked over to my right and I saw a dog driving a car, and it distracted me, so I hit the gentleman in front of me." Once again, sir, what substances have you ingested today?
Hey man, we were just doing whippets back in those days, you know.
The mystery
good old-
continues.
Ain't that the fun?
I got a beef.
Oh yeah.
Let me take my little drink of water there. I got a beef, dude. Again, I've bitched about Apple in the past with their updates and all this dumb shit. And then last week, we're doing the podcast. My AirPods don't connect.
What's the deal with that, anyways? How come the AirPods are so shoddy? You know what I mean? Like some days they work
I don't
beautifully and some
know.
days they don't. I think it has something to do with
leads
like, the what's going on in the system in the air, affected by.
It
like,
leads me to
the
this
tide.
whole issue of like my phone is in the same condition it was the day that I bought it, but now I have to update it and it's slowing down and I'm gonna have to get a new one. My computer is brand new. I have 4 gigabytes of space left, so essentially I have no space left on my computer. My AirPods don't connect to, when I want to use my phone, they connect to my computer. When I want to use my computer, they connect to my iPad. There's all that. Like,
Why don't you buy a different company than Apple?
because I like the idea of like everything interacting with it. It just doesn't interact well. You know what I mean? I like the concept that they're doing. I'm doing a terrible job of bitching about this, but it's just like, do better, man. You know?
Let me ask you this: My
Yeah.
Mac, how long should I expect it to last?
3 years.
Is that like how this rolls?
Yeah.
Like at 3 years, this is like I'm
Yeah.
fucked. All right, I'm in year
Well,
2
here's
right
the
now.
thing.
So
Here's
you're telling me
if you're using it, let me answer that better. If you're using it for just like whatever internet simple stuff, it'll last longer than that. But if you're using it for things that require processing speed,
Podcast.
if you're in yes, exactly. If you're recording things like that, it's gonna phase you out. You'll do an update one day, and you'll be like, oh well, I guess I need a new computer now. You know where you'll notice it? You'll notice it when you're going through, wow, this is a boring topic. Sorry, I thought it was more interesting than this, but I'll keep talking about it. If you're going through your external hard drive and it's like loading really slow, you're like, oh, okay, well, that's sign one.
You know where I've noticed it with my phone? My phone's gotten to that point where if I'm using the GPS on my phone, if I do not leave my phone plugged into the charger, it will drain at a crazy speed. And if it is left into the charger, it just maintains. It doesn't charge. That's where I'm at with. I have an iPhone 10.
That sucks.
Yeah, so it maintains with the charger. If I have a really strong charge, it'll stay really strong. If I have a 50% charge, even using my GPS and plugged in, it still won't even stay at 50. It'll still slowly drain.
That's a terrible flaw because you figure if you're away from home and you're on your GPS, that's when you need it the most.
That just means I need to have my fucking phone charged all the way when I get in my car.
Hey, Apple, do better.
No, Apple's fucked up, dude. Because if you think about this, didn't they lose a lawsuit a couple of years back about their batteries? They specifically
they were making their batteries like self-destructive,
die after 3 years. They would go to shit and make you buy a phone, and then they lost a lawsuit that if like your battery was at a certain percentage and you had a certain model, that they'd give you a new battery for like $20 instead of like 100 and fucking whatever they try ripping you off.
Yeah.
My biggest complaint's this goddamn AirPod problem. One day I'll connect onto here like it's no problem, but the biggest problem is the one I had last night with my AirPods. I fell asleep with them in my ears, and I woke up this morning and I couldn't find my white AirPods on my white sheets. Now that's the biggest problem I have with my AirPods. That was a real
that's
motherfucker.
not Apple's fault.
No, it is. They should have made them black.
They should have made them fit in your ears better. They actually fit pretty good.
That's why I should get those Ultimate Ears fucking fits.
They used to make AirPods in black. Why'd they stop?
I don't know.
Who cares? Who cares?
They never did. They never did. They only the fake ones were in black. They never made the real ones in black.
Oh, well, I don't really research a whole lot, so my bad.
That's what you like to do. You don't like to research.
I want homework. Did you watch the Super Bowl?
I saw the halftime show. I thought it was cool.
Oh, it was great. It was awesome.
Apparently Eminem wasn't supposed to kneel down like that. And they told him, the NFL told him not to do it, and he did it anyway. And he did it for a long time.
Is that what happened? The NFL told him not to? Because I read otherwise. I read the NFL knew nothing about it, and that also it was just like he knelt down. It wasn't like a statement.
I heard that he was told not to do it, and Dr. Dre paid for that whole production. And I wonder if that's why Dr. Dre paid for that whole production, so they couldn't be told what they could and couldn't do. Maybe.
Interesting. You know what question I had while I was watching it? It was, first of all, I thought it was really cool. Did it look like the back wall made it so only half the stadium could see? Like, imagine if you were on the other side of that set, you'd be staring at like the back of it, right?
You'd just be looking at that fucking ginormous ring that goes around. That's a huge screen.
Well, you could watch it on the screen, right? But you can't. If you were looking... Get it out. If you were looking at the field, you'd be behind the stage. It was like the stage had its back to half the stadium. Am I wrong?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe it was like, you're right. Yeah. But isn't that always the case, though? Like, in any halftime show, like, there's always one side that the stage is facing. It's not always
stages kind of have been turning into that, like, center concept where... there is no back, or if it has a back, like I went to see the Stones a couple months ago. They had a back to the stage, but there was no one sitting back behind it. That was right in the middle of the field.
There would have been if they could have sold those tickets.
Probably, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Just something I thought of.
Yeah, well.
Leave a comment with your thoughts on that. I don't know. Shit. What was your favorite Super Bowl halftime show?
Dude, I'd be honest with you. I'm not a fan of the concept of the Super Bowl halftime show because it takes too long. Yeah, I know, but I really want to watch the game. Halftime's annoying already when it's 15 minutes long. Like now it's going to be 45 minutes long.
From a sports point of view, yes, 100% agree with you. From an entertainment point of view, how cool is it that in literally a commercial break, in the commercial break's time, the people leave the field and they have that full production set up and ready to go?
I think that's pretty impressive.
It's awesome to me.
I don't have much to say about that, except that I'm sure they get paid a lot of money to do it.
It's probably a lot of people too.
And they're doing a good job.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really neat that the tarp that they had down, when the camera looked down on it, it looked like you were looking at like all the city.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a really cool setup.
It would have been cool if they would have like shown the true representation of that neighborhood. Where are the dead bodies and the cops?
Do you remember Tom Petty halftime show.
So I remember Tom Petty.
Well, his halftime show at the Super Bowl, he had his emblem. His emblem is the heart with the guitar going through it, and it was 2 stages, and they came together and formed the emblem. That was cool.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Why do I feel like I didn't see that Tom Petty halftime show?
I don't know.
I don't watch a halftime show. I usually use that to go smoke pot or something.
Notice the theme. I don't really remember it. I do remember, though, however, I watched a dog turn right one time.
It's a true story.
Yeah, true story.
It is. I don't care if none of you believe me. It's really not relevant because you know what? I believe me. And I have a witness.
Yeah. I believe that you believe it.
Swear to God, when I hang out with my friends that I went to high school with, when I was in high school, I was already playing in bands and everything, but I made sure that my friends in high school weren't musicians because it was just too much to have just all musician friends and nothing else.
Too many cooks in the kitchen?
Yeah, so I just look at my friends that I grew up with, and I don't know. I feel like they're the adult in the room. whatever around them, I'm like, yeah. I'm not the adult in this room.
No, dude, no. You're a man-child, and I mean that kind of in like not a shitty way. You know, like it's kind of a good trait to like stay young. You know.
Yeah.
You know what thought I did have while I was watching the halftime is that era of like, was it like 90s rap? I guess you call it 90s, 2000s rap or whatever. It's turning into classic rock where like,
well, it's classic rap.
Right. And what I mean by that is like, you know, I've said before, like Kiss is now everybody's favorite band. Everybody loves Kiss. Everybody goes to Kohl's and buys a Ramones t-shirt. They probably can't name 3 songs, but like now it's like, oh, Snoop and Dre are doing the halftime show. This is awesome. Where like, if they would have gotten the halftime show back in when those albums came out, when they were just as big musically, people would have bitched a fit, I bet you. Bro signs, don't care. My thought.
A friend of mine sent me a picture of all the people from the halftime show, and they're like, "If you're excited for this halftime show," and it had all the guys, you know, and it said underneath, it goes, "Now's the time to book your colonoscopy."
Why though?
So funny. Because it is. The joke is, look at all these old men up there. If you're excited to see these old men, then it's probably time for you to book your colonoscopy.
All right, man. All right.
So you don't think the joke is funny? I mean, I thought it was a little bit of a chuckle when I got the picture, to be honest with you, because I understood it. It didn't need to be explained to me like a 2-year-old.
Jeez, dude.
Jeez Louise.
Did we just become enemies? Just go with it, man. That would have been a great wrap up.
Well, on that note, everybody, thank you for joining us again here on the What Everybody podcast. We're not going to do questions. Fuck questions. Why do questions today? Who needs questions? You want questions? Ask me something. Go ahead. You want to do them that bad?
What pisses you off more, bad drivers or when your AirPods don't connect?
Bad drivers. With a caveat. Depends the scenario with the AirPods.
Depends what?
The scenario with the AirPods. For example, if we're doing the podcast and the AirPods don't work, that's an annoying concept. Or in my case, I forgot them, and in your case, they didn't work. Either way.
Yeah, in my case, they did.
It's a
and then my
lose-lose.
reaction, little inside scoop, my reaction to my AirPods not working on the last podcast put Jonny in a mood that was not his fault. That just it was.
Whoa! Put Jonny in a mood. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm going to defend myself here. I put up with his.
I just said it wasn't your fault.
Right. But you made it sound like it put me right into a mood. Let's really stress the fact that I put up with the crybaby shit about it for fucking 2 hours before I finally did lose my shit.
2 hours is not. It was not 2 hours.
It was an interview. It was a meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess you know I guess you know my answer to that question. I'd rather put up with the bad drivers than the unworking AirPods.
Hey, check this out. I just stumbled upon something that I never realized would probably be a great thing for me. I just never realized it. So this morning, I found myself waking up at 4:30 a.m. because I fell asleep really early last night. And you know, I wonder if the problems with my computer is because I fell asleep with my computer on my bed and woke up with my computer on my floor and my AirPods lost in my bed. I wonder if that has something to do with anything. But I turned on a video on YouTube of watching somebody doing live like Wall Street like stock analyzations, but it's coming from like a young kid. Somebody like ahead of the curve, like, you know, people who like know the shit about the GameStop and all that other kind of stuff. But all the stocks, the kid knew what he was doing because he was going through every stock by the second, talking about every change. And I'm looking at him like, this is a numbers game. I'm all about numbers, and I'm amazed that I've just never like dove into the stock market and really like try to like analyze it, because it looks like if you know what you're doing, you could sit in front of your computer all day and just fucking make money if you know what you're doing.
I agree.
The reason I said it's weird that I've never stumbled upon that is because we all know about me in numbers. It's like watching trends. Yeah, you're always watching the trend. Where's this trend going? When to sell it? It's like completely strategic. I'm sure it's not something you just learn overnight, but there does also seem to come in there like just like simple logic. You know,
maybe you just found your calling.
I'm doing a podcast. I don't have time for that.
Which is also a numbers game.
That's why they hire people for that. You know, I just should understand what I'm hiring for.
Yeah, well, our questions didn't work out very well.
What question do you have? What was the question?
I just asked you.
Oh, that was a question. Yeah, bad driving.
Yeah, buddy. Dude.
Bad driving.
Dude.
Bad driving.
You are unwrangled. You are a unwrangled pinball playing cat today.
It's 1:48 in the afternoon. I've technically already been up for like fucking like 9 hours of my day. I'm tired.
Hey, not my fault.
It isn't your fault. It isn't your fault.
Yeah.
I should have went back to bed, but I got stuck watching literally this guy just talking about live trends on the Wall Street. I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
I would rather you have stayed up and me have to deal with a bit tired Johnny U-boy than you go to bed and sleep through the podcast. That would have been way more annoying.
Do you want to hear the story on why these are back?
The shoes? Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here we go. I just did not have luck with these customs, my friend. Let me tell you why. It all starts in 2005, 2006.
Oh, right? God. Here we go. Okay.
Sorry. Look, he's annoyed. I got a story.
Ryan
has a podcast, but whenever I want to talk, it annoys him. Like, I don't understand the concept of that.
No. There was something about you showing me your shoes and why you're annoyed that you're wearing them that I was interested in. And then whenever I said, explain to me, you go, it starts back in 2005, and I immediately regret it.
But it's true, it does. I'll make it quick. I worked at the Hard Rock Cafe at the Beverly Center in Los Angeles, okay? One of my favorite jobs. They encouraged me to be as nuts as fucking crazy. I had a fucking green mohawk, a pick mohawk, dreadlocks, everything. Well, there was a time where this new law came to be that if you worked a certain amount of hours as a waiter in Los Angeles, you had to take a break. And the reason why this happened, because there was a couple of year period where it was popular for everybody to sue the restaurants that they worked at because they weren't getting their breaks. They just saw an easy way to money. So all of a sudden now all of us who liked working straight through had to take a break. So one day they tell me right after this starts that I've got to give up my table and take my break. And I had done all the work for like this big table and I was pissed.
And then the other guy got the tip.
Right. So I went outside and the Hard Rock at the Beverly Center, like where everything's loaded in. It's under a mall. So like there's these weird hallways. So I'm in the back hallway and I'm fucking fuming. I am so fucking angry. And I see this box. I see this brown box and I think it's an empty brown box. And I fucking go and run as hard as I can to kick this fucking box down the hallway. And as I'm about to kick the box, I see the Cisco. Cisco is the distributor. I see the Cisco guy coming around the corner. And at the last minute realized that is not an empty box. That is a box filled with dishwasher fucking chemicals, a fucking brown box. And I somewhat was able to stop my leg a little bit, but I kicked this thing so fucking hard. It hurt so bad. Yeah. They sent me to the hospital for x-rays. Now they told me that I did not break my foot, But I wonder, because it's possible, an x-ray doesn't pick up a hairline fracture. Fast forward to 2022 to the Magenta fucking Customs, okay? The new Magenta Customs come with the tongue of the shoe, for whatever reason, had this weird elastic that went from the tongue to the bottom of the sole, okay?
I have a pair of shoes like that. I hate it.
Right. Well, I ended up cutting them. That turns out this was what the problem. But with my insoles inside the shoe, and it took me 3 weeks. I just thought this whole time that I was breaking the shoes in, and that's why it was uncomfortable. But it turns out last night I take my shoe off and I look, and at the exact location where I kicked the box and where I've always had like a little bit of a bigger bone, it is completely swollen. And I think for the last 3 weeks, by tightening my shoes, I think I gave myself a fucking hairline fracture in the ball of my fucking foot, exactly where I kicked that box. And what I think happened was, I think it was a hairline fracture before, because it looks exactly like it did after I kicked the box right now.
Weird.
And I think what happened is, it was a hairline fracture before that never healed, and I aggravated that hairline fracture, and I can't wear those shoes. So then I did cut the elastic last night to see if that was the problem, and lo and behold, that was what the problem was. Now I got to wait until this heals up again before I can wear those shoes, because
so if you cut the elastic, why didn't you continue to wear the shoes? Are they still tight?
Because they're still tight, and I tried and it hurt, and I was like, you know what, I can't have a broken foot. I got a very busy schedule that I need my right foot coming up.
You know what? I like Vans a lot. I like what they look like, and the comfortable ones are comfortable. But I've had a couple of them. They're just simply uncomfortable shoes. Like, whatever. I guess it's like the same with anything. But like some of them are really comfortable. Some of them are tough.
Dude, man, this fucking custom session has been nothing but a problem. I should have obviously never ordered them. You know.
Well, let's go through the lineage. Problem number one. Problem number one came, the wrong color was shipped to you.
Well, no. Problem number one came. Hold on. Problem number one came when I decided this whole process was a good idea when I was drunk. Boom. There's problem number one.
Which led to who ordering the wrong color? Vans didn't order the wrong color. You ordered the wrong color. And then... I guess that's not really.
They didn't match at all. Number one. I got purple with fucking navy blue suede. None of it made any sense. Thought it was black. I couldn't see straight.
I was trying to be clever in the lineage of things, but I guess problem number one would have been kicking that box originally, which was whose fault? Whose fault?
Mine.
Yeah. Why wouldn't the Hard Rock just say you have to take a break? Do it when you're done with this table.
Because the rule is always this. If you didn't drop the food yet, then you turn the table over. If the food's already dropped and my break comes, then I get the tip. The deal with that's fucked up is the hardest part of waiting on a table is taking the order and delivering the drinks and the appetizers. That is the toughest thing to get out. All the stuff you got to do yourself.
That didn't count as food? Appetizers didn't count as food?
No, entrees. Entrees.
Yeah.
Once entrees drop, then it's your tip. So if you do all the bullshit work for a fucking 12 top table, get the 12 drinks, get whatever salads and soups, and then somebody takes over for you and they don't even deliver the food. The food runner drops the goddamn entrees. Now you just got all the fucking money.
They just check if everything's okay, who needs a refill, and where's my tip.
It's like the backup quarterback coming into the game when it's 38-0 and saying, I won the game for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're an athlete. You're an athlete. You are an athlete.
Like, fuck. Well, I'm trying to be because I wasn't, very good at it ever. So I'm trying to understand athletics.
When someone asks you why you're not wearing your new shoes, just be like, I just aggravated an old sports injury.
I was playing soccer.
Let me ask
you
a bad kick one day.
I have a question for you. Back to questions. All right, here's a question for you. Why do they call American football?
That's such a boring, unoriginal question.
Oh, no, hold on. Everywhere else in the world, it's called football, and they use their feet.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. It's okay. I understand it's a dumb question, but somebody if it's that much of a popular question, how come I don't know the answer to why it's called football? They don't use their fucking feet with the ball very often. Soccer, which is called football everywhere else, uses nothing but their feet and the ball. It makes sense. Foot and a ball.
Okay. Follow-up question. What should they call it?
It's a good question.
See, gotcha.
But let's think about that. Let's come up with a name of what football should be called. It would make more sense for them to call it handball than football because they use their hands a lot more.
There's already handball.
There's already a football. There's already a football. That's way used more than fucking handball. Football is the most popular sport. The real football is the most popular sport in the whole world. Fingerball.
They should call it pigskin. Pigskin.
Fingerball.
Pigskin.
If we can't use this name as something else, they should call it part of a hand.
Yeah.
Pigskin. Why do they call that? Why is it called pigskin?
Because it's made from pigskin.
What is the ball?
The football.
Maybe because the Washington Redskins nickname were the Hogs and they're pigs. That would be pigskin ball. That would then hence mean it's connected to the Washington Redskins, which therefore make it racist. You follow me?
No,
totally.
Not even close. Close to following you.
Okay, I got you. The Redskins, when they were called the Washington Redskins, the name of their fans were called the Hogs. Hogs are pigs. I don't know, but hogs are pigs. Pigskin. So if the pigskin is part of a hog, and the hog is the Washington Redskin football, fans of the Washington Redskins, and Washington Redskins is racial, and it's racially incorrect, that would make the pigskin ball a racial incorrect name.
Yeah.
Follow me? Bro science.
On that note, everybody,
thanks
for joining us
today,
again.
Here today, on the What Everybody podcast.
On the What Everybody podcast.
Ryan loves me.
Johnny was fun today. I had a great time talking to my buddy Johnny Boy today.
We had Fellenz here today. He really summed things up for us.
His old shoes.
The shoes? Hey, dude, how about the kick in the box?
You made a couple good points today. There's a few there, but then
you still hate me.
Immediately annoyed me. You made some good points and then immediately annoyed me.
You guys never get to see what I see. No. But these people never get to see what I get to see.
We don't need to do
because Ryan does the editing. And because Ryan does the editing, he edits out any time he looks annoyed at me. So you never see the looks that he gives me. He gives me a lot of them.
But that's not all I edit out. I edit out all the times that you cough into the microphone.
I didn't cough.
I edit out I edit out all the times that you go take a pee. I edit out all of those noises. You know?
That's true.
I'm a really good friend to you. I'm a really good friend. You know?
And he lets me know it.
Hey, final question of the day, Johnny. Final question.
Yes.
Who's your best friend?
Ryan Harris.
Should have said Tom Fellenz, bro.
He was at one point, for sure.
All right, man. Enough being stupid. Good talking.
Enough being stupid. Hey, good time today. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Like, subscribe, and report. Like, subscribe, and report, right? Is that what it is?
Report us.
Like, subscribe, and report us to the authorities.
And then report it to the authorities.
We came up with a new slogan. Like, subscribe, and report. And we will see you next week on the What Everybody podcast. All right, bye.
WhatEverybody.com. Later, buddy.
Like, subscribe, report. That's classic.
See ya.